been laughing because all day we want to say hello, YouTubers. Okay, we are back and we're with my meditation teacher, Lauri DeJulien, or LauretteDeJulian.com. You can find her there. And we had such a great conversation that we didn't want to cut it off, so we're going on to round 2. Okay, so for anyone who didn't catch your first video, Lauri is a spiritual teacher, meditation teacher, teacher of A Course in Miracles, health intuitive, many different things. And essentially a lot of people, she's had a profound influence on our community in terms of helping I think a lot of spiritual and wellness teachers actually themselves.
Right.
I think you've had a profound effect there.
Right. Everyone that it just has worked out that way, that everybody that walks into my center, into my practice, actually is a teacher themselves.
Isn't that interesting? So
Yeah.
you're the teacher of teachers.
I don't know about that, but I definitely have met some wonderful healers, and I have access to wonderful healers like yourself.
So it's true, and Lauri helped me in huge ways. I want to talk, Lauri, about a subject that you and I think, are profoundly passionate about, and that is A Course in Miracles.
Okay.
And the reason I say it is because when I was suffering from severe anxiety and unfulfillment, I was meditating 4 times a day. I was going to acupuncture. I removed all stimulants in my diet. I was going to yoga as well. And all those things were helping, but what really shifted the anxiety was studying A Course in Miracles. Why is that, do you think? I mean, I have my own thoughts on this, but when I try and talk to other people about it, I think it's hard to explain.
Well, you and I are very much alike, and we've talked about that. You know, we're very similar in our backgrounds and the way we think and the way we move in the world. But, you know, everybody has a body, a mind, and a spirit component. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 main components, and there's other components, but those are the 3, the construct. And there's definitely people that are more into their bodies, and there's definitely people that are more into their emotions. And then there's definitely more people that are into the spirit world. Mm-hmm. I feel that the Course in Miracles talked to me and other people like me because they needed a way to get out of their mind.
It is true. It helps you get out of your mind.
It's a mind healing process. And for me, not being a particularly physical person, you know, there's somatic practices, there's all sorts of breathing and Kundalini practices. They're very much body practices. They just didn't speak to me. Mm-hmm. There's tapping, there's energetic work. Mm-hmm. We can go on and on.
Yeah.
But my way of relating had to come through a more mental construct.
And A Course in Miracles is a mind training, right? Right. And it's a movement away, and I feel like it's hard to explain unless people are actually like in it. So, but it's a mind training that moves you away from this way of thinking that we've inherited, that we're born into, of fear, right? Of being afraid, of achieving so that we're not left behind or whatever. And it's a shift from that, from this fear thinking, to a way of love, because it's this idea of duality. But even that sounds like a little bit corny if you try and explain it to people.
So basically, first of all, most of the people that have looked at the Course in Miracles are, you know, in the first perusing, saying, "Oh my God, this is like Pig Latin. Yeah. It makes no sense."
Right.
And I was one of those people as well. So if you're picking up the Course in Miracles for the first time, or maybe the 50th time and closing it right away, what I'm going to say to you is don't focus on the words.
Yeah.
Focus on the energy that comes to you. It's kind of Morse code. So don't focus on the words. Just notice what comes into your mind and your feeling, or just a revelation that comes to you as you're reading it. And whatever needs to come to you at that point in time is what needs to come to you. And people try to hang on the words. They try to figure out, you know, that seems backwards, upside down, and convoluted, because words are nothing but symbols for energy. So let go of the words and just let whatever comes through for you come through. And that's the best way to do it.
That is true, right? It is, I think, also it is Christian in languaging, and so that can be kind of intimidating for people as well.
Yeah, so you know, Marianne Williamson is one of the big speakers on A Course in Miracles. She's from Houston, Texas. Yeah. where I'm from too, and she's Jewish.
Yep.
She's Jewish in her spiritual practice.
So it's Gabrielle Bernstein.
And yes, and actually the channel of the Course in Miracles was Jewish. So, you know, you couldn't be more juxtaposed. Yeah, right? So, but the words are words that might be familiar in the Christian religion, but they don't belong to Christianity. So words like atonement. Atonement for most of people means, you know, to make forgiveness, to make amends. But the word atonement in the Course in Miracles is at one-ment. You know, whenever we feel separate, we feel alone, and we will feel this pain and suffering. And the way that we move back together again is to make forgiveness.
Let's make forgiveness. I think, talk a little bit about, I love this idea, and I've experienced it and practice it all the time, is that this idea of like, what I do to you, I'm actually doing to myself.
Oh gosh, we did that lesson today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and you know, people get really, really jittery when we start doing it. And I said, think of somebody that really drives you nuts, and write down the things that drive you nuts. And you know, people made the list, and I said, okay, so now I want you to go back to those words and put just like me. And he was like, oh my God. And you know, the faces in the room, that's one of my favorite ones to
that's a
kind of
good
bring
one,
up.
actually.
Right. So the things that bug me about you are really things that bug me about me. And people will say, well, you know, Candace is never on time. And I'm always on time. So how can that be about me?
Yeah.
Well, you value being on time, and you would beat the crap out of yourself if you were not on time. You could never forgive yourself if you weren't on time. So what I judge in you is really something I'm going to judge in myself. And that's the mirror hole. The other thing is that, you know, people always come to me and say, should I marry Candace? Should I take this job? Should I hire Candace? Should I do this, that, and the other thing? And my answer is always yes.
Why?
Because why would it be in your field in the first place? Why they're asking me is they want to avoid pain. They say, I want to make the right decision, meaning I want it to fit my agenda.
I feel like that very much lately, I must say, that I'm realizing that I don't take action because I want a sure thing. Like I want to know all the answers, and then it's going to work out exactly the way that I'm. And then I recently realized that that's just so stupid. Like, because it's never going to be perfect.
And for me personally, I say yes to everything because I never know where it's going to end up, right? My mind is so small, and my agendas are so small that I'm limiting the infinite possibilities. And so by saying yes to everything, to a certain extent, I stretch myself beyond the boundaries. And what I think I'm in something, for instance, I went to Australia just recently, and I thought I was down there for a particular reason, but it turned out to be a whole different scenario with different people, and ended up in different relationships.
I think that goes to the point of like, you actually never know what's going on in your life. And this idea of control is an illusion.
That's correct. So you don't know.
And it's limiting.
And you don't know, you never do know, you're on an as to know me basis. Most people originally come to me because they hear I'm psychic. And they want to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And I say, well, why don't you just connect and find out? But this all comes down to faith and trust in a higher power and surrender. And surrendering is the hardest thing for people to do.
Okay, so I'm going to do some rapid fire questions for you. Okay, you ready? So I'm a person, I hate my job, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. What should I do?
Well, you can tell me what you don't want, but can you tell me what you want?
So identifying what people want first.
What you want. People are very quick to tell you a list of things that they don't want, but they have difficulty owning and receiving what they do want. And so one of the exercises we do is I say, list out 10 things that you enjoy doing. And for some people, that's a really difficult process. Well, I guess I like to cook, and I guess I like to garden, and I guess, you know, well, it's really hard for me because I'm always working. I said, and that's why you're miserable.
Right.
So it's a great exercise to just sit down and make the list of the 10 things that you love to do.
I didn't know years ago, just a few years ago, I'd never listened to my heart. It was always about my head and what I thought my life should be like versus feeling what actually brought me joy.
And what you thought your life should look like was based on some belief systems that somebody gave you in South Africa.
Right. With some teachers, parents, the media, things I made up along the way. If my life looked a certain way, then I would be happy.
And I don't know about you, but if I only get one turn on the merry-go-round here, I don't want to be living out somebody else's thoughts. I want to be living out my own thoughts. So I need to get everybody else out of my head and figure out what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. So I figured out what it is I love. Now what?
Then you need to make a plan to execute it.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. What if I am unable to connect? What if I can't remember what I really love? What are some things that I can do?
Basically, you would have to, there's something called heart math. And I would encourage you to go into your heart and think of something you love. It could just be your dog.
Yeah.
And get into that space of love and sit in that space of love so you can remember what love means. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's experienced, I don't care who you are, everybody has experienced a moment of love in their life. Whether it's just looking at the sky, or your beautiful flowers, or your dog. And as you sit in that space of love and spend more time in that space of love, it will come to you. It will come to you.
What about this idea that people have of, that sounds all great, there's all these things I want to do and I have this calling to be a dog whisperer, but I need to pay my bills. It's very unrealistic for me to change my life.
Well, I always say start doing something on the side, volunteer, look for opportunities to just do the thing you love, not necessarily making money at it. Just be in that vibration of loving what you do, and the rest will take care of itself. And, somebody like yourself, somebody like me, we made that transition. I came from a very high-powered job into what I do now, and I just do it because I love it.
Yeah.
And the rest, the doors just open because I'm in that space of love. And in that space of love, anything's possible.
But there's also an element of trust there and surrender, as to what you were saying.
Right, and that trust has been built over time.
Yeah.
That trust has been built over time.
Lauri, where does meditation fit into this?
Meditation's a very interesting word because people think about meditation and they think of people sitting on a cushion, or sitting in this silent room, and that's meditation for some people. But basically, meditation is anything that creates stillness for you. Zen meditation is a movement where people walk around the room and they just focus on their foot placement and breath. And that's their meditation. Other people feel very connected when they dance, which is not really stillness as you and I define it, but that's how they find their connection. It's anything that opens you up into a unbound and unlimited being, feeling free and connected and peaceful.
This has been such a pleasure. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close out?
If you're a person that wants to do the things that you love and you're afraid to do it, just go ahead and give yourself a chance. Go ahead and do the what if. It doesn't have to be a grand thing. It can just be a small volunteer thing. It could be a workshop that you give for free just because you want to see what happens. And from there, great things will evolve.
I think that's great advice, and you've given it to me many times, and I've done that too. Everyone can find you on www.laurettedejulian.com.
That's correct.
You're also on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Laurette DeJulien.
Okay, Laurette DeJulien, and Facebook as well.
Yes.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.